Oh, listen,
Hey,
what's up? I was still jamming to the music, okay? I love the intro. What's up, everybody?
happy Mother's Day.
Hey.
This show is for all the mamas, whether you are mothering children or mothering yourself. Yes, that's where we at today. So today's show is Mama and Mary Jane, and we have on with us Miss Jennifer Gaskin, a.k.a. Jenny from the Woo, a.k.a. Jenny Noir, and also one of the founders and creators of the Worcester Caribbean Festival. So we will bring in her on stage in just a little while. But before we get into things, how are all y'all mamas doing? Did y'all have a good Mother's Day?
Yes, I had a fantastic Mother's Day. Does anybody want to share what they did? Hey, Monique. Thank you for joining the show this
Hey,
evening.
mama.
Happy Mother's Day.
Let me see the chat. Yeah, I spent the day with my mama, and I went to visit my grandmama and my godmama and my aunties and all my mamas. So that was nice. I haven't seen anybody in a while. Hey,
Yeah.
Monique.
All right.
I,
So go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Erika.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we just saw Jenny's lovely face pop in, so we're gonna bring her on. But go ahead, and then we'll bring Jenny in.
I was gonna say, I did what mamas do most of the time. I just spent time with my children, and I had some really great vegan ice cream. So that was a little bit of my day today, and got lots of good mama love today from folks. I felt the mama's love today.
That's good. All right, so I'm gonna bring her in. Y'all ready?
Yes.
All right.
Hey,
Hello.
good evening,
Hey,
ladies. How are
Jenny.
you? Happy Mother's Day.
Thank
Happy
you
Mother's
so
Day to you
much.
too.
It's been such a long time. It's so good to see your face
I
and to
know
hear your
it's
voice.
probably been a good, I want to say 2 years since like I've physically seen you in person.
Goddamn panoramic,
I'm trying to tell you
pandemic, something.
something. I'm so tired of seeing people through like
I
computer
tell you
or my
what though,
phone
we see you
or
being a
whatever.
radical black mama online though.
That's right.
You know what? It's just painful to be honest. As a mom, it's just painful to watch because, you know, seeing my children growing, knowing that you carried this child for 9 months, and then you raise this child for, however many years that they live on this earth, and then just to have them taken just because of who they are. And that's not something that we can, like we don't get to choose to be a black person. We just get born and we are who we are. So I just think it's really unfair, and it makes me angry sometimes. Sometimes it makes me sad. But I just feel like I need to put a voice to it because I know that there's a lot of us, that aren't able to vocalize, whatever we're feeling and going through, or we don't feel like we should, or we feel, just a way about expressing those feelings. So I just try to come out and, say what I'm feeling because I'm sure that I'm not the only one, feeling those things in the moment, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is refreshing, actually, to see a black woman in the cannabis space actually
Going
speaking about
off.
these issues and not trying to
Yeah, and I mean,
hide.
I try not to be, and I know people like, well, last week I just decided I'm just gonna embrace being the angry black woman. Like, if that's what you want to call me, at this point, I really don't care.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it regardless.
I
that's
mean, but it's
that's where
like
I'm at.
angry and righteously so. We should be angry.
Exactly.
We have every right to be
Indeed.
angry and screw people. Actually, no, this is our show, right? So fuck them people.
Yes, we could say
So
that.
Right. I mean,
yes,
You know what I
seriously.
like to say? They can go to hell.
yeah,
No, I mean,
absolutely.
serious. I just really feel like I mean, for me, like, I just feel really disgusted by people who are in the cannabis space, and they're continuing to perpetuate, white supremacy and,
And not what's
racist
called out.
behavior and this and that. When the fact of the matter is, I'm going to tell you honestly, 9 times out of 10, your weed plug was a Black person, because we
Right.
were the ones growing and selling and taking the risk for the past 50 years of
Yep.
prohibition. We were the ones selling and taking the risk. Now you want us to show up in your dispensary that looks like the Apple store and pay you $80 for an eighth. Like, I'm not really feeling that. I'm just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you want to send around racist memes and talk trash. Like, no, we're not having that. Sorry.
And not hire us.
Yeah, not hire us, or you
Or
want to hire
fire
us
us.
as a bud
Or
tender.
fire us.
You want to
Yeah.
hire us as a bud tender, but you don't want to hire somebody like me into your C-suite,
Yeah.
because you feel like I'm asking you for too much money. No, I spent 20 years of my life in the pharmaceutical industry. I know in and out how to run a regulated environment, a regulated business environment. In the pharmaceutical industry, what we say all the time is that you have to be inspection ready at all times, because the
And they are
FDA or
not.
any health authority, they have the ability to show up at your establishment with their badge and walk in and start inspecting you, because that's
Yeah.
the risk. That's how it works in the pharmaceutical industry. I have 20 years of experience of working in that environment, but you don't want to pay me to bring you up to speed in the cannabis industry, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm bringing you up to speed because I've been doing this for 20 years. So I'm bringing you up to speed, but you don't want to pay me to do that. Well, guess what? I'm not sitting at your desk. I'm going to give my son the money to start his business, and I'll sit at his desk.
There you go.
Thank
It's
you.
go ahead.
Uh,
I was going to say, well, on that note, for those of our people who are watching, what do you call them? Our viewers who don't know what you do, just give a general synopsis of
Oh, boy.
what it is, and then we can get into nitty gritty how you got there.
Because we went 0 to 60.
I'm
Did
definitely
we
like
not?
a Caribbean.
Yes, I was
I'm
like,
not
ooh.
Jamaican, but I'm kind
Yes.
of like the Jamaicans on In Living Color, where they have like 15 jobs.
Yeah.
I have a lot of. I have a lot. So, anyways, I work full time in the pharmaceutical industry, but I am the co-founder of Empress and Bandit Greenery, which is my son's cultivation business. We actually just secured a couple months ago now our space in Templeton. We're putting up a greenhouse. Whoa, my desk just broke. My son's been cultivating for some time, and he actually started cultivating for me. I have multiple sclerosis, so he started growing for me to help me with my issues and pain and this and that and the other. And also for himself, because he suffers from ADHD, and it helps him with, just slowing his mind down and getting right. So that I do with him. I'm also on the board of directors for the Mass Cannabis Reform Coalition, more commonly known as MassCan. And I joined them at the end of last year after they were going through a tumultuous period, where they had some people on the board that were, going down some different paths, and it wasn't meeting well with the members of the coalition. So they did a reach out. They wanted to diversify the board. Myself, Chops, joined the board at that time to help them to diversify and think about things from a different perspective. And we're actually seeing a lot of that happen now, where we're talking about, changing the logo for MassCan. And for those that don't know, it's MassCan that puts on the Hemp Fest that takes place on the Boston Commons every year. And so, we want, like I go to the Hemp Fest, but, I want people in my community to really understand what is available to them, through organizations like MassCan. For example, just going to the Boston Freedom Rally, last year, well, it wasn't last year, the year before last, when we still were able to go outside,
Right.
I was able to really meet with a ton of different growers, get my son some high quality, seeds and things like that. And these are the, Harvest Cup, these kind of events. This is where we need to be showing up and showing our faces, marketing our stuff, getting information, sharing knowledge, getting to know each other in the industry, because that's another thing. Like, I don't really feel like I have the opportunity to connect with other people of color that are in the cannabis community, because, the places that I'm going, I'm not seeing people that look like me.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot.
Do you think the reason why we don't see people that look like us in some of these spaces is, one, due to lack of sharing knowledge? Because I feel like that's something that Aunyx and Erika and I ran into in the beginning of establishing our brand and business.
Yep.
Or do you think it's just like there's not enough of us in the space? So that's two questions.
I think there's a lot of us that maybe aren't in the space necessarily because we're worried. We don't know how to enter the space, or frankly don't have the economics, don't have the money to enter the space, because this is a pay to play industry. At this moment, it's a pay to play. Like, I give people the example, when we went to negotiate our HCA, I had to give up $5,000 just for them to hold, so that they could take money from that to, like, if they had any expenses related with, getting us to a final HCA, they took that money from that escrow. But like, that means that I just had to come up off of $5,000 just for you to talk to me, basically, is what that money is for. So a lot of times,
Can you tell people what the ACA is? So just for the ones that don't know,
right? So exactly, and this is the thing, right? Like, how do we get this education? How do we even know where to start? So I think that's really, I think there's people who want to get into the industry and they don't even know where to begin. So a host community agreement is what is required by the CCC, which is the Cannabis, what is it called? Cannabis Control Commission. Because sometimes I make up names for things that
all the acronyms.
Right. So I got to make sure I'm using the right name, right?
Yeah.
So that is part of the regulations for marijuana establishments, is that we have to get a host community agreement with the community that we're going into, whether it's a town or a city, that spells out the terms of us being in their community. It usually outlines any, tax, like we have to give them off the top 3% tax, off of our revenues. And then there's usually some other provisions that they like to put in there to think about, to mitigate community impact, or that's what they're supposed to be, to mitigate community impact. But we've seen, in Fall River and other municipalities, there's no real, there's no control for that. So we have towns and cities that are asking for stuff like build a greenhouse for our high school. Like, how is that? Like, what is the connection to that? And how am I somehow impacting that by having my weed establishment in your community? Like, it's just
so basically
in many cases it's a money grab, right?
Yes.
But it's a we have to have it, we have to have that signed document for us to even begin our application to the CCC, for us to be able to get our license and market legally. So it is what it is. There is some legislation up at the State House to try to move, to try to get rid of the HCA, because it's really, at the end of the day, now we have dispensaries, almost within 20 minutes of everybody, right? So you're not seeing impacts to traffic. It's ridiculous to think that somehow, we're impacting teenagers when you literally are going through like metal detectors and showing your ID 15 times just to get an eighth. And then this other ridiculous concept of like edibles getting the children. Well, first of all, if I'm paying $50 for a freaking weed cookie, I can guarantee you that none of my children are getting it, because I'm watching that weed cookie like a hawk, because I just paid $50 for it.
Exactly.
So, come on now.
Right.
Come on
Remember
now.
they were
Right.
trying to say they were coming to the Halloween
Oh,
candy.
no.
Absolutely
No, I'm
not.
not
We're
putting
gonna
that. I'm
give
not
out weed
putting
edibles
my
at
nerd's rope
Halloween.
that I just paid $30 for in with my Halloween candy.
Right.
What?
They just create nonsense.
It's like a create this hysteria. And you know,
Mhm.
even you think, okay, let's even talk about like the cultivation, right? So we have a greenhouse. So now they say, okay, well, now you're gonna have waste, right? But we
Mhm.
don't want to have waste. We would rather just compost our stuff, or
Yeah.
you know, take the stalks, use the fiber, make textiles, make clothes, whatever. Like we would rather be zero waste. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
no, y'all gotta grind up your plant waste with kitty litter and throw it in your locked dumpster because you
Let's
Shut
can't
up.
have, you know, weed waste everywhere.
let
Or
me I want to talk about that.
As if it's
Erika,
toxic.
do you remember me talking about that? There was another
Yeah.
organization that got penalized for
yep,
not grinding it up with like trash and
yeah,
stuff
with trash or whatever, so that
and
people can't
but the
I
thing of
guess
it is,
people are gonna dumpster dive and pull your weed out. Like,
and
first of
and
all,
what
that
they
just
go,
goes to show
listen, it's
that you
not.
don't even know how it works. Right? Like that just goes to show that you don't even know how it works.
Yeah.
But you know
But
what,
these are the people
Jennifer,
making the rules.
Right.
you're speaking my language now because I'm really big on things being environmentally friendly, and I think there should be some legislation that is more about sustainability and how
Exactly.
growing, cultivating, even like production, as far as like delivery, all that, how that impacts the environment. Like when you think of being
Because
like,
think about it, right? So when you go to the dispensary, right, and you buy your products, and then
mhm,
they put it in this childproof package, which
That's
first of all,
plastic.
I can't even get the bottle open with, like, I can't even get the bottle open.
Will you pass me that
It's adult
bottle
proof.
from
Yes.
Netta so I can
So
It's adult
why
proof.
does it
demonstrate I
need to
can't fucking
go
open
in
it?
now a childproof packaging?
Right. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so now we got the plastic, right, from what you package the weed in.
Yeah.
Now you got a package for this child safe, whatever.
You found it. You found one.
Right. You can't even get. Listen, I got a disposable vape, and it was in a plastic tube, and you know, closed in the plastic. I couldn't get it out the plastic tube. My son comes over here. I'm like, I can't get this stupid. Like, can you get this stupid thing out of here? But you're putting it in another plastic container,
Hmm.
which I can't get those open either. I just usually end up cutting them.
Yeah.
so
Like,
let
and then you're putting it in a bag. So how much waste
Because it's not
has
about
just
that.
gone into that?
It's obviously that is secondary to what they're pushing for
What are they pushing for?
the industry to be. Like they're clearly not thinking about that.
This
No,
I
is
they're
think,
not.
gentrification all over again. They're
yeah,
Right.
it's more so
gentrifying
like
Okay,
the
let's.
I'll even
culture.
give y'all another example. So our water, we have to tank our water, and just somebody comes with a truck and takes it away
What?
because it touched the plants.
What?
Shut up.
I'm not. You could go look it up.
So
You could go look it up.
okay, only because look, so my background, I also worked in pharma, and we were doing the company I worked for a few years ago. Their actual like claim to fame is basically they make plant-based vaccine, right?
Yep.
And we had a greenhouse. So I can't imagine that, oh, we got to remove the water because the water touched the
We
plant.
have to tank
What?
our water and truck it away because they don't want it to get mixed in with their sewer water that goes to a water treatment plant with your doo-doo in it.
okay,
One more time.
pause,
Right?
pause.
I'm confused.
Just please pause for 1 second. So the inside joke is our last show, Jennifer, just so that you could laugh. The content was about cannabis and please help me. Sex, all right? Just cannabis and
Sex and
sex.
cannabis.
For whatever reason, doodoo came up in the conversation
Okay.
like 15 times. So
Okay,
when you said doodoo, you
ladies.
just died.
Why is doo-doo and sex in the same conversation?
Because we were talking
The
about kinks at the
conversation was
time and the
Oh.
request that the lady was getting on her OnlyFans.
All right,
Oh.
okay, let's
She's doing
stop. But
crazy
we
shit.
laugh. We laugh. Okay, we're not gonna go deep
That's
into
deep.
stop.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
But you're absolutely right. I don't understand why it is such a big deal that your water
Yeah,
has to
like
be tanked and discarded in another location.
I mean, when
Just
it goes
creating
down the
morals.
drain, right? When your water goes down the drain, it goes down the same drain that your toilet goes down, and then it
Yes.
goes to a wastewater treatment plant where they
Yeah.
treat the water and get rid of it. So what is the difference?
But the thing also is, why can't you reuse that water? There's nothing wrong with
Thank
it.
you.
Why
Thank you.
can't you
The,
Why
just
can't we
reuse it?
Can
reuse it?
you?
Why
Okay.
can't my son grind up his stuff and compost it and reuse it?
Absolutely. And then all that process that you just outlined is actually creating more waste and
It
yep.
having more
creates so much waste.
environmental impact. So it's another industry that's going to end up being one of the major polluters.
Exactly.
And then nobody wants to have the conversation. Then what they're going to do is start a whole propaganda campaign to blame the actual consumers of the industry.
Right,
and not
because
the
now they're gonna
producers and
say
the
we're
manufacturers.
throwing all this plastic away, we're creating all this waste, we're doing this, we're doing that. When it's really not us, it's the
It's the
regulations that's
legislation.
doing it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And nobody wants to talk about how like the regulations just do not even make sense.
They
And
don't
it's
make
like,
sense. My son grows for medical. My son grows for medical.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't afford to get you a vertically integrated medical license. I can't. I can get you to a recreational license, but I can't afford that because that means now I'm the grower, I'm the manufacturer, I'm the producer, and I'm the dispensary.
Yeah.
Where does
They
that
set
money?
it up
Where
like
does
that.
that money come from?
wow.
Big
Who has
corporation.
that opportunity? The only people that have that opportunity are multi-state operators that have come into Massachusetts and
Mm-hmm.
taken over. I mean, that's the only people that's gonna get it. And even even for us as craft cannabis, we recently had a couple of craft cannabis companies that have recently come onto the market. But again, it's like we're begging for space,
Yeah.
right? We're begging, we're putting our feet to the pavement and talking, to the dispensaries to get our product. It's just like trying to get into the supermarket to get shelf space. So now we got to try to get shelf space against, multi-state operators that are coming with, big budgets and big marketing and all of that. And we don't have that. All we have is our community here, our
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth, what we could do, through our networks. That's all we got.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically we're already on the downside of it. And then we're coming into the market of recreational, where there's taxes everywhere. Like everything they taxing that weed. Everybody that touch it is getting taxed somehow
Mm-hmm.
on that weed. So by the time it gets to the consumer, you're paying like $80 after you pay taxes and everything to walk away with an eighth.
It's
But you
crazy.
know what? That background though is really good. So that when you talk about the prices at the dispensaries, people don't think that, it's us
It's
in the
regulation
industry
driven.
setting those
The
Mm-hmm.
prices.
price is regulation driven. That's why your price is so high. When I have to truck away water and throw away my plants that I could be composting and my son could
Mm-hmm.
be making live soil, no, I gotta go buy soil because you told me I gotta throw everything away. I
And
gotta
then
pay for
on
water
top of that,
again because you told me I have to take all my water away.
and then there's
So
a whole debate now too about people who are operating illegally and why. And
Mm-hmm.
it's such
why
a
That'd be
wouldn't
why.
multifaceted
hello?
economics
Why
that you're
wouldn't I
talking about.
operate illegally
Tax free.
if tax free? If
But not only
somebody's
that, some
telling
people are
me,
also operating illegally to raise the funds
but
to
then it's
operate
like they
legally.
can never get there because
Yeah.
Exactly.
they keep moving the goalposts. They can
Absolutely.
never
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
get there.
Yes, I was
you
gonna
read my
say
mind.
that.
They keep moving the
They
benchmark.
can't never get there.
Yeah.
And then they say, "Oh well, hold up," because now you're in the I like to call it the legacy market. I don't call it the black market. I don't call
Mm-hmm.
it the illegal market because all of y'all behinds is over there buying off of it before, and you're probably buying off of it now. So whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
The
Legacy market.
legacy.
I
The
love it.
legacy market, how you come out of the legacy market to become legitimate when now you got charges because you're in the legacy market, right? Like if you look at the
Mm-hmm.
CCC regulations, in order for you to be eligible to apply for a license, you have to have either periods of time between when you were charged, right? Or you can't have certain charges. For example, you can't have violent charges,
Nope.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Dorchester. I don't know any non-violent drug dealers. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In
So
fact,
are
that
you
got
gonna
brought
have
up for
I
like
don't
if
see
someone
you're a
nothing.
actually.
legitimate,
I don't
like
see
if
nothing.
you're
I
a
don't say nothing.
legitimate player that's gonna be able to come up with the money to now flip your money to become legitimate, that means you got to be rolling money, right? So
Yep.
that means you're a big player.
Mm-hmm.
You have gun charges.
Basically, I mean, I don't see the lie. I like no lies
You
detected.
have gun
Lies. No
charges. There's
lies
no way.
detected.
There's no way you don't have gun charges. I'm not saying you shot somebody. I'm not saying that, but you definitely got popped with a loaded gun.
So let me ask you this. Knowing that, like, the legacy, not just the legacy market, but just the legacy of prohibition and the impacts that that's had to our communities all across this nation, right? Why do you think that more of us don't get together and pool our resources to do these things? Because maybe you could partner with somebody, right, that doesn't have the gun charges, that's like squeaky clean, squeaky clean, goody two shoes over here, but also wants to get into the market. And it's just like everybody might have a different piece and a different area of expertise. So why are we not forming, not necessarily like formal co-ops, but why are we not all like partnering together
Alliances.
and
To be
using
honest with
cooperative
you,
economics?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Because for me, like I said, me and my son came to me and my son said he wanted to do it. At first I was like, eh. So I went and did my investigation. I went to some seminars, I read, I kind of, hung around. So finally, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Right? Okay, let's do this. But I'm married, I have a husband. My husband, that's a whole, whatever. We can't do that. All right. So, but that's okay because we got something for him to do too. Then I said, okay, let me get out there. So I started working at a dispensary just as a bud tender, whatever. Because I just wanted to kind of get a vibe, see what was going on.
Yeah.
I met another young man. He was actually the assistant manager at the dispensary at the time. He's from Costa Rica, and he's Native American. So now he's actually our COO because he kind of like me and him vibe right off. He's authentic. He's from, Chicago. Like me and him vibe. So I said, all right, you know what, Louis? I can't be with you all the time because I have a full-time job. I have to keep a full-time job because that's the only way I can fund you doing this. So I
That's
got to go
being
to
a
work.
mama. That's being a mama, right?
Yeah, I got to go to work. So let me get you somebody to help you operationally. And I know he knows what he's doing because he used to be an assistant manager. Here you go. So now we got Josh on our team, right? So now we're forming, like you said, we're forming a team. We're forming a coalition, right? Then there was another young man. He was doing like teaching people how to grow. He had his little thing going, whatever. We linked up with him. We vibed with him. I'm like, hey, James, you want to come in with me and Louis and we'll do this together. And he's like, what took you so long to ask? All right, let's go.
Yep.
Right. So now we got our team. Right.
Right.
And we're all on the same page. And like you said, together we could pool our, like everybody's coming with their own, area of
Expertise.
expertise.
Hmm.
And we could put that all together and then we could be successful all together. Because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, like it's Mother's Day, right? So at the end of the day, my job is to set my kids up for success. So that when it's time for me to retire, like I tease them and I tell them I'm gonna get a trailer and I'm just gonna drive around to all their houses and plug into their electricity and use their water and eat their food.
That sounds like something I know over here.
Right? I got 3 kids, right? So I can do like 4 months at
Right.
each, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told
I'm
them
ready.
that. So I want them to be straight so that when I go to retire, I don't gotta worry about them. Me and my husband can go do whatever we want to do when we go to retire because I know that I left you guys okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what it all comes down to, is that legacy. Like, what are we when we leave this earth, what are we leaving behind?
So what has
what are we
your
leaving behind?
what has your experience been like being a mom
Yeah.
and being in this space? So
Yeah,
what
you know,
is the
and to be
stereotypes?
honest with you, from the very beginning, that was honestly my main like hesitation.
Okay.
Mm.
Was like, you know, I'm a mom. You know, do I really want to be out there saying to everybody that, you know, I'm consuming? I don't really smoke. I smoke, but not really. Like, no, I don't have nothing against smoking. It's just not my thing. I love my
Mhm.
edibles. I take my edibles and I'm done. I love it. But you know, I'm
Relatable.
like, right.
Relatable.
So I'm like, you know, do I really want to put that out there? And you know, how is that gonna influence them? But
Mm.
I think that's where I met you actually. I went to the
Mhm.
Elevate event and the young lady was there and she was like the youngest black woman to own a dispensary or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her that question and her response to me was that she taught them the science so that when people come at them, they could get them the science, you know,
Mhm.
or they could give them like, well, you know what? You could think what you want to think, but my mother has multiple sclerosis and it makes my mom okay. Or
Mm-hmm.
you could think what you want to think, but my older brother has ADHD and my older brother runs his own business, works a job, and is a great dad. You know what I mean? Like give them
Mm-hmm.
that, arm them with that information. So when somebody try to approach you on, oh, well, your parents do drugs or your parent, da 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 da. Well, you know what? Your mom's is probably going home popping Xanax. That's fine if my mom goes home and pops her edible. Like, what's the
Facts.
difference? What's the
Shots
difference?
fired. She said,
No, but like, what's the
It's
difference
real.
though?
You know what the difference is. It's like there's a
Right.
stigma attached to us. It's like, and
Doing
it's,
anything.
yo,
But that's why, again, that's why I'm so vocal. Cause I'm like, listen, I'm successful. I have a career, I have children, I have businesses. Like I get up every day and I show up. So I'm not like I don't smoke weed on my couch eating, I don't know, well, I probably do, but
combos.
I still I still get up and go to work. Is the
right.
point.
You still make
And
it
I still
happen.
show up and I'm a productive member of society. That's
Yeah.
the point, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, people say stuff like, "Oh, well, you can't be professional and have locks.
Yep.
Hey,
Bitch,
people,
what?
look,
You
it's
can't
like
be
I got
professional
tattoos
and
and
use
magenta
weed."
hair. You know what I mean? Working in corporate America. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
And the funniest part about that is that whenever it comes out, because it always comes out eventually at work that you consume weed.
Yep.
Whenever it comes out, they always running in my office and closing the door. Oh, Jen,
You got
blah blah
anything?
blah.
What you
Oh,
got?
could you get me? Da, 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 da.
Yep.
Like always. It's never like, oh, you know, outcast. No, they always sneak it. Or when we go on business trips, it's like, Jennifer, do you got any gummies? Of course,
Uh-huh.
Jennifer got gummies. Like, what the hell? Of course I do. You know what I
You the
mean? But
plug now.
now I'm the plug. Now I'm the
Yep.
plug. Like to the point, one of my like actually C-suite, the C-suite was coming to me to get their product.
Girl.
Okay. So,
Jenny
you
the
know, most of
whole
the time
plug.
people around us are consuming. It's just
Yeah.
not something that they're open about just because, you know, of the stigma and they don't want people to think differently of them. But you know what? I like to sleep. I have insomnia. I have chronic
Mm-hmm.
speak
pain.
on it.
I have migraines. I have endometriosis. I
Yeah.
have some depression, some anxiety. So you know what? If eating my edibles or puffing on my vape or whatever makes me a better mom, a better employee or whatever, just let me smoke my whatever and eat my whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Absolutely.
Mother's Day love, Xavier.
Yes.
So I will also like to ask, because we ask everybody that comes on the show this question.
I knew
I
you
mean,
were going
you
to ask.
Uh-oh, what's
gave
the
the
question? What's
answer.
the question?
So we ask everybody what was their introduction and their journey into cannabis. You gave us a little bit of that,
I'm
but
trying to so it's funny because I know I can even like literally I can picture it in my head. Matter of fact, I can't even tell you where I was. I
Okay,
was
okay.
let's
on
hear it.
I was on Longfellow Street in Fields Corner, Dorchester, Boston, Massachusetts. And it was me and my best friend, and she's still my best friend to this day. And she's like, oh, because her boyfriend at the time, like he was rapping and stuff, so he would like go on tour and things, and he started smoking. So she's like, oh, we gotta try this. And me and her, first of all, as much as we thought that we was, hood thuggy, give me a break, we was not. um, but and so whatever. And I remember she had like a blunt, because that's back then we used to smoke out of Phillies.
Right.
And we call ourselves splitting this blunt and rolling us a blunt, and we gonna smoke. I think I probably ate more weed out of the other side of the blunt, because we didn't know what the hell we was doing trying to roll a blunt. I think I probably ate more weed than I smoked the first time. But that was like my first. And then, off and on recreationally, if I'm chilling or we out going to the club or whatever, you want to smoke and get right. And then I met my husband in 2000, and my husband is a smoker. So we would like, our first date was like a 50 bag in KFC. I mean, and then it, like just smoking, but really medicinally, I was diagnosed in 2010 with multiple sclerosis. And almost immediately after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Like, I would have panic attacks so bad, like I would still be shaking, 10 minutes after whatever the you know, thing that started, or like I had a lot of panic around or anxiety around driving. So a lot of times I'd have to like not go places or pull over to the side of the road. And I went for a period of like, I want to say 2 or 3 years where I really wouldn't drive anywhere after dark, or I wouldn't drive somewhere that I hadn't, that I wasn't familiar with without my husband or my son. And then like my son started really more getting into growing. My nephew started working for a dispensary. So then they introduced me to edibles.
Ooh.
But
edibles so that's a new level, and it's and what I've heard you say,
and I was like,
again, so far,
with the smoking, like I'm a professional, so I don't want to be like coming into work smelling like I just, like was chilling with Snoop or whatever. Like I just, I just don't want to bring that kind of vibe. So it was like, whatever.
Wait, what was that? What was that? What'd you just pull out?
She's not a cookie. She's an edible. I'm jealous.
Okay, a macaron. It's a macaron.
Like a whoopie pie. Oh, it's a macaron.
I've never seen that before. Okay.
Oh, I've seen the macaroons.
It's my cousin's. This is not edible. It's edible, but sorry for interrupting you. Delicious.
It's not infused.
Baking bees, y'all. Baking bees.
All right, we're gonna have to look that up.
Oh, she just got
medicinally, I would say probably like 2010. Mainly to initially it was to really manage my insomnia. I have awful insomnia. I don't really sleep. And it was just to manage that at first. And then I saw that it helped with the pain. So I started using it for the pain. I saw that it helped with the anxiety. I started using it for that. And I basically, I'm off of all of my daily medications. The only thing that I take, from a pharmaceutical perspective, is I take once a month. I take a shot for my migraines once a month. That's it. But I feel like there's a space for, Western medicine, and then there's a space for herbal medicine in everybody's life. I mean, there's certain situations where, you should, for example, having multiple sclerosis, like I'm not going to leave that to chance, because it's very important that I'm up and I'm able and I'm present, for my family. So I'm never going to leave that to chance. I'm going to make sure that I do all the right things. But part of that, really for me has been, I went through 5 different medications for my multiple sclerosis. And it wasn't until I made the choice to get healthy myself, like meaning getting up, exercising, meaning, changing my eating habits, meaning, taking that time to deal with anxiety, depression, all of those things. It wasn't until I did that I got myself stable. So, that's why when I say to people about like getting yourself healthy, it's not just about the medical side of things, right? It's about getting yourself healthy.
I think the event that you and I were at together with Aunyx, I think Dr. Knox was present there.
Yep,
Is
she
that her
was.
name?
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing because it was a while back, but I think what she said, you'll be really good if you want drink water, eat good food, and use cannabis. Okay.
And
And
mind your business.
that's
Yeah,
Sorry,
right.
that's just
Hello.
living.
Say that again. Tell them again about minding their business.
one more time, Erika. Go
Tell
ahead.
that minding the business thing again.
Say
Mind
it
your business.
Yes.
Or mind the business that pays you. Choose
Hello.
or both.
Hello. Just mind the business that pays you.
Good advice.
Yes.
I'm
That's
telling you, you have been cracking me up. I have literally enjoyed watching you online. I'm like, she is cussing people out today. I am here for it.
No, like some days I just wake up like, well, first of all, I feel like, listen, this is my social media, right? Like if you come on my page,
yes,
right? Like you are not gonna come like. So there's a joke in the Caribbean community, right? So there was one of our DJs, and he's a sound man, and if you're Caribbean, you're gonna know who I'm talking about because he's just known for this. So like in the club, like so part of the culture of the Caribbean is like we do sound clashes or like DJs go up against each other musically.
Yes.
And they will talk trash to each other on the mic and this and that.
Yeah.
So this dude, he like best sound system in Boston, right? But like, yo, if you got on his sound system and started talking trash about, he's unplugging that shit. And he was known for that shit. Like, I'm gonna unplug that shit. You're not gonna talk shit about me on the microphone that I paid for. Like, you're just not. So I'm just gonna unplug it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about my social media. Like, if I make a comment, like, and I'm not saying everybody has to agree with me. Like, you don't have to agree with me. But you're definitely not gonna come up on my page with some wild, like what? Like, I think we was posted about the guy from Turptown that sent the racist meme.
Yeah.
And then the selectmen in the town said, well, if he's on it, y'all can't have y'all event because we don't support that. So
right.
I agree with them, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't support that either. So like whatever.
Yeah.
So homegirl, we're having this whole conversation on a whole like page, like somebody's page. We're having this whole conversation on a public page at that, a public page. We're having this whole conversation. She finds herself. This is where we talk about the mind your business, right? You actually took the time to search me on Facebook. Now, mind you, my page is private. So that means you searched me and looked for a public post to come on and defend homeboy. Like, we not doing that here. You're going to get all the way the F off my page. Like, all the way. And not
so she's trying to carry the conversation to you personally.
Disrespectfully, you are getting off my page.
And you can respectfully go to hell.
Right, like why?
She said not even respectfully. She said disrespectfully.
Had the nerve to come on my page and tell me I'm unstable because I cussed her out. No, I'm cussing you out because you're not minding your business.
Is that the woman that made the comment to him like, you know who you are, don't just ignore these people?
Yes, it was her.
Good in the community. I saw
that,
and I was like,
Doc, I don't care. Listen, I don't care if you personally went to, I don't even know where you go, a black church and fed the entire black church legal seafood. I don't care. If you sent racist memes, I'm still coming at you. I don't care.
Right.
Yep.
Now the whole question though, so the follow-up, because I did read the article that the link was shared, and whoever wrote the article said they were also going to do further investigation to find out if they really removed him from the company or not, and what does that mean, or did they just remove him from the permit that allows them to have the event?
Well, I will say that I did go. I did go. It was on Saturday. I did go, and I didn't see that person there. I did see the other person that was running it. He was there. I seen him walking around and stuff. But I didn't see the other gentleman there. Plus, I don't think him and homeboy is cool anymore, because I'm pretty sure it was homeboy that ratted him out.
Right. Because there was some argument about that, because
it's like, how did it even get out? It was a private
Right,
thing.
but did you see the part that killed me was, and I'm gonna say it just like this: the part that killed me was that the racist was pissed off that the other white dude outed the other white dude. Like, they was really mad at him.
But that's their argument, though. Let them have that fight.
Yeah, I was like, wow, y'all are really heated at the, because like it's like
he broke code. He broke that little code.
Yeah, like they was really heated at him.
Mhm.
And I mean, they was coming at him full venom, like, you did this. Like, no, he really didn't. It was your homeboy that sent the. But hey, I'm not like you said. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all argument, but really, that's not on him. That's on your homeboy that sent the racist meme. I don't really understand why you're not mad about the racist meme.
Right. Or not.
Nope.
And did you see the meme?
Yourself,
did you see the meme? So
I didn't see the meme. I missed it. I heard about it.
And I was like,
there was several. It wasn't even one. It was several.
Oh, really? See,
it was
I
several.
Saw the one.
It was several.
Like, word? Like, we telling that.
So that's a trend.
Okay.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. And somebody actually did say it on one of my threads. Like, they came on and they were like, no. He's like, I'm white and it disgusts me, but this is very common around. Like, we pass, we send around these memes. We make these comments amongst one another. He said it's very common. And he said it disgusts me. So I don't hang around that. But he came on my post and he said, no, like, that this is really something that happens in the white community. And I was like, honestly, I believe you, because nobody seems outraged at the fact that he was sending the racist meme.
I mean, but
everybody seemed outraged that his partner
told on him. Right.
But you know what? But just think about just nationally how they don't seem outraged about a lot of things.
Well, this is true.
But it's like they'll be mad when somebody's held accountable, when somebody gets called out.
Yep.
They meant they got caught.
Right.
But why does the person, like, okay, Sharon Osbourne, like, first of all, I have to give home, what's her name? Sherry Underwood. What's her name?
Cheryl Underwood.
Oh wait, was it the other one? Is she still?
What was it? I can't remember.
It was the sister. That's what we know.
It was the sister. Because you know what? I have to give her a lot of credit. Because if that woman would have said to me, well, don't you start crying, I think I would have got up. And I might have laid her out. I might have laid her out. Because what? I want you to show me one video of a black woman who starts crying when they talking about some racist crap that happened to them, or they witnessed or whatever. Like, why am I crying?
Right. Yep. But she wanted to defend her friend. She was upset. She was like, he's a nice guy.
But just like I told homegirl,
I don't even know what happened.
Stop defending grown ass men. That's a grown ass man. Let him defend himself. Mind
the thing is, she got to go on a whole soapbox,
right,
defending herself. And then we had, I don't even remember what black man it was, that felt like he should invite her and the other black women that had an issue with her to air her grievance about what happened.
Too much.
Why are we even giving her a platform? Why are we giving her a platform for that?
She got to go on Bill Maher and talk about it. She got to go on Bill Maher and talk about how she felt attacked. And she got to call Holly Robinson Peete and other people that used to be on the show bitter. And said that she was never that person.
And so but the black woman never got to defend herself.
Never.
Wow.
But isn't this what happens though? Like you said, you used to work in pharmaceutical industry. I'm sure y'all all work or do something interacting with people. But like I feel like this happens to me all the time. Like I feel like this happens to me all the time. And I'm always being like, I'm the one who's angry. And somehow I always end up being the aggressor. But I'm like, you started it.
And so this is my thing. I feel like anytime we vocalize in a strong manner that we disagree with something, it's seen as being aggressive, and that's not the case. It's like,
I
have the right to disagree with you.
Right.
But I'm glad that I will say this, at least in corporate America currently, people are aware and it's a new day. Like that's no longer flying in a lot of
I don't know. I'm pessimistic, man. I'm pessimistic, I feel like.
It's just
I don't know.
These things, because I'm at just the age that I am at this point in my life, I am showing up fully as my whole full self.
Oh, I am too.
Everywhere. And it's like, if you want to say I'm angry, that's your business.
Yup. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
That is your
I don't
business.
care anymore.
And I do get to be passionate.
Indeed.
And if something is, if how can I say it? If there's something that I should be angry about, then I'm going to be angry about it.
But okay, I'm going to ask you guys as women, right? As Black women. So, like, I could just be having a conversation, and let's say I'm disagreeing, and I'm just like, well, I don't really agree with your point. You know, and I'm talking like this, like I'm not raising my, I'm not, you know, I don't really disagree. I disagree with your point. You know, I feel like you don't have your data or facts, you know, correct.
Nope, that's a threat.
Right, but why?
Because
you're
Black.
Black.
You why. This got explained to me, and ever since this comment was explained to me, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So if you're saying that in a corporate setting or in a setting where the person who you're having this discord with and it's being viewed by others and that person's credibility or knowledge or position is even perceived to be threatened by you, how dare you as a Black woman who they've allowed in the space, okay? Even if you had to kick the door down and take your seat, okay? That is a threat to them. And it's like, how dare you? Because everything that they are taught teaches them that they are better. That, like, the least of them is better than the best of us. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. But I just think it's like,
we're over it in
know.
2021,
Like
believing that.
It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Go be
Like,
great. That's what I tell
you know what I mean? Like, for me, like the person that I am, whatever I do, you know, and I mean this, you know, fully with my full heart. Like if I go to work, if I say, okay, I'm accepting this position, then I show up, right? Like I show up for my job, I perform, I show up, right? Like whatever I do. So when I'm showing up and somebody's not showing up, and I'm like, hey, Becky's not showing up. Or Becky was supposed to do that. Or what has happened to me recently too is I have junior employees who think they can talk to me how their superiors think they could talk. Now, not knowing that I be checking their superiors in the background. Or like when you come at me on email, I'm gonna very nicely come back at you. But like now they think that now they can say stuff. So now I gotta check you. Like I shouldn't have to be checking your subordinates, dude.
Yeah.
And then when I go to like HR or to my boss, it's like, oh well, like it's kind of like I'm being petty. Or that's how they, you know what I mean? Like they perceive it in that way where like, oh, Jennifer's always complaining about how everybody talks to her. But it's like, you're not talking to me right.
Right.
No.
So,
what
I'm going to complain because you're not talking to me right.
What did you just post? Did you not just say, like, I have a portal to the universe in my body?
Yes.
Which other beings come to this plane, so you better watch how you talk to me?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's very appropriate for Mother's Day. It's like, we give birth to all of this. You know,
exactly. You're not going to just be talking to me reckless.
Crazy.
What?
Right.
What do you
And
saying?
I just feel
Not gonna be talking to me crazy.
And you're like, this happens.
Like, and I don't know, like, did they not teach manners to?
No.
They didn't teach them manners?
I gotta share an experience that we had going to a mixed group of cannabis people.
Okay.
I'm a very, very like friendly person. You know that. When I saw you, we hugged.
We hugged.
After like Me Too, we was hugging, right? So that's okay. Something about the energy. You know, you feel it. It's right.
Right. You get a connection. You vibe. Yeah.
Several non-Black women, so males, several of them felt entitled to handshakes and hugs. I'm just gonna call it out. We were in the woo. We was on your turf, and
that doesn't surprise me out here. But
like
carry
I said,
on.
I typically have friendly vibes. I have friendly vibes. Everybody who knows me knows I'm big, huggable, cuddleable, and it just was like very obvious. Like, no, don't fucking come in my space.
don't
But
touch
like, I went to handshake because it's a professional setting, right? We're all professionals, so, allegedly. So I go to shake a hand, it
Potentially.
gets slapped out my fucking way, and a big bear hug.
I can only imagine how that went down because I know somebody
Now you
touched
know.
me at this event, and I had to like kind of touch you on the shoulder, and you were just like, "Oh, she got it."
Oh yeah,
And
somebody
you walked
touched Fox, and I went off too. I looked and gave her the look because everybody know me too. I will
I
pop
can't
off
believe that somebody would think that that was okay.
They do it.
all the time.
Like, you're totally invading my personal space right now.
Yes. So it's not just even like these verbal micro, like it gets physical is what I'm trying to say. So I'm like, okay, this is what we're not going to do. This is what we're not going to do. And that's why you would expect going into the cannabis space, the professional cannabis space, I had certain expectations that quickly got dialed back.
I was going to say, well, my expectations quickly evaporated.
Yeah.
I mean, it and honestly,
Right?
it's really disappointing, to be
We
honest.
wanted to cuddle too. Yes.
But it's been interesting and eye-opening. We already knew that we were going to face challenges and obstacles coming into the industry because people oftentimes look at us like, who are these heifers? Like, where they come from?
But why do people not take us seriously though? Like, we show up. Like, when I show up, I dress professionally. You know, I got my thing going on. So why are you not taking me seriously?
No, because you know you're probably like a single mom that's also like sprinkling your weed with crack, and you're just trying to get in the industry.
You shut up.
You're not educated.
Listen,
no, but I know she's being funny.
Single mom until you said sprinkling it with crack, and I said that's not me. That's not me.
But don't you feel like that? Sometimes I feel like that.
Yeah, it's not unfounded. No, people really look at it. It's like that's the energy that we've been getting. Like, wait, what?
We've said this before. We go to spaces to like, you know, have our events, and we get asked, "Are they going to tear the place up?"
No, are you going to tear shit up? Like,
yes,
are you going to break shit? What? I'm
all us grown ass women, grown ass moms.
Who's breaking stuff? You know what I'm saying? Right. I just paid you cash money.
Like, in my 40s, what?
Yeah. Who is breaking stuff? Like y'all said, people.
This is real life. This is real life experiences we had.
Breaking stuff.
It's a cannabis event. I was like, we mellow. Hello, we are the Magiqal Mellow Moms. It's in the title.
We just want to do our crafts. Like, we just trying to show people how to make stuff.
So
like
y'all mentioned earlier how I do the Caribbean Carnival out here in Worcester, right?
Yeah, please. Yes.
And so
she didn't even get it out.
I can't. Because first of all, Caribbean people, we just want to smoke our weed, drink our alcohol, and if you're a dude, you just want to whine on a boom boom.
That's it,
right?
The boom boom. Yep.
Nobody is coming to Carnival to fight.
Nope.
If you come to Carnival to fight, go home.
Yep.
Because we come to Carnival because we want to drink,
make a connection,
weed, hear our music, and jam. We're not here to fight. And there's even songs where they're like, who the stupid man who come to the carnival and they fighting instead of whining on a bum seat. Why are you fighting when there's all these women here? What the hell is wrong with you? Like, they make songs about that.
Right. Yep. Yep.
But when we went to pull our general liability insurance, like how y'all are talking, they're like, oh, you know, are you expecting violence? No, I'm not expecting violence. When you do an event, do you expect violence?
No.
Oh no, how about you need to have the police?
Violence.
How about you need to have police, not outside, but you need to have police inside your event.
Literally.
Oh, hold up. Don't even listen. Our police, first of all, we're not like Boston or any of the other carnivals around in the community, we pay for our police.
Yeah.
The carnival committee pays for the police details for them to be out there. And that's something that they tell us we have to do. So it's like, we don't even have a choice in it. And then we have the police out there. And, honestly, where we're at as a community with the police, like, I'm not even in that vibes right now.
Right, exactly.
Like, I'm really not even in that vibes right now.
Well,
Can't tell a taser from a gun.
It's like, why should we have
like,
to pay
I just
them?
I don't even feel like, honestly, where I am at, frankly, with my PTSD, like, I don't even want you around me.
Yeah.
And we literally had to break that down to one of the location owners and explain to them why we were not comfortable with that.
Yeah, like, I just don't even
know, like, you know what, if that's what your rule is, and the thing is, it wasn't even their rule, but it was going to be their rule for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, because there's weed involved.
Yes.
There's weed involved. And just look who you are. And there's
weed
involved.
But it also was a Black-owned business as well.
See, and that makes me that's a very unfortunate.
And the workaround would be like, we just get a private security situation then. But the point is, they was still like, no, you're going to have to pay for somebody else to stand here. And a lot of it, too, it's not just
because
the Black thing, it's the women thing, too.
We can't control ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Control ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not just the Black thing, it's a woman thing, too. They're just like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Oh, how cute.
Oh,
they're so cute. They're so cute.
I know we are, but shit.
No, we're cute, but that don't have nothing to do with my ability.
Yes.
Exactly.
We
It's
still
like
about our
and smart.
Okay.
Right. Why we can't come to, like,
Yeah. So I mean, it's a whole
But honestly, I feel like, and so I have a lot of challenge with also, like, the social equity and how they defined that too, in our space. And, as much as we have white women who support us and are our partners and our allies as people of color, I don't think it's fair that white women are eligible for the social equity program through the Cannabis Coalition, Cannabis, whatever it is, CCC.
The CCC.
I don't think that's fair, because if the goal of that program was to repent to the communities that were most affected by the war on drugs, I don't think that frankly, I mean, and again, not to offend nobody, I don't really think that necessarily includes white women.
But I think their driver with that really is more about diversity and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
We know that from a professional perspective.
Right. What women in general, we're usually below.
Yes.
But I can see that. But I think that they really just need to think about that social equity program and really what its goals are, and figure out a better way of executing that, because I don't feel like, I feel like a lot of those programs are really to train us to work for people.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree. And there was an event.
That shouldn't be the goal.
There was an event at your space, Jenny, where Elevate, or was it Elevate?
Yeah, it was Elevate,
And they were breaking down why they switched from having a minority, I hate that fucking term.
Me too, but
like a Black and brown person thing, and they switched it because it was challenged, and they were saying that it was discriminatory. That's why they started making it based off of prison demographics and other markers that
but if we need to, like, I'm sorry, but this country really needs to start having some more honest conversations. I feel like this country,
and don't be sorry.
They need to have some more honest conversations. Like, if we're gonna really talk about cannabis and what it did in our community by the war on drugs, like, let's really be honest about what happened in our communities. Like, literally, they came into our communities and decimated our communities. But right? Like, after the Vietnam War, our men came back from the Vietnam War and they got them hooked on heroin and coke and crack eventually into our communities. Like, we didn't bring heroin into our community.
Or
We didn't
anything
bring
else,
heroin
actually.
and crack
Yeah.
into our communities. We didn't bring guns into our communities. Like,
Mhm.
that was kind of
But then,
like,
I mean, but it's like, can we have an honest conversation about that when how many millions of people voted for one of the architects of all of that stuff that went down and is now the president of the United States? But people were okay checking that box and then feeling like he's going to be the solution. And it's
yeah,
like
but you
the
know what? People
mindset
got to
that
get
created
off
the
of that.
problem
Like,
can't fix the problem.
but you
Right.
shouldn't even be worried. Like, honestly and truly, like, and this is what I would say to people too. Like, honestly, we can't even be in this moment right now. We can't even be worried about who the president is. We need to be worried about who is our governor,
You know,
who are our mayors, who
local
are
and
like.
state.
There's people in Worcester that didn't even realize that we have a city manager. Like, the city manager is who runs our city, not the mayor.
Yep.
The city manager manages the budget, manages all the departments and everything. There's a city manager, and then we have a mayor. The mayor is basically the head of the city council. That's all he does.
Now, does the city manager also provide for people with disabilities so that they can have their accommodations met during
You know
meetings?
what, Erica? I'm not
Whatever
messing
she
with
with
Silly.
you.
right.
No,
I'm
so
not
no,
messing with
actually,
you,
I would no,
Erica.
honestly and truly, Worcester's very good about making sure things are accessible.
Okay.
And they're very there's an officer in the city hall that oversees all that, even for events. Like for the carnival, they make sure that I have something in there about, making space for handicap parking, making sure that, the event is accessible, that I provide viewing for people with disabilities. If somebody is deaf, that I have, like, they really make sure that we think about those kinds of things, and even like really making sure that we're following all the open meeting laws, that when they're doing meetings virtually and stuff like that, that people have accessibility. I
And
will
you're a
say
black
Worcester's good
woman,
about that.
and you're a black woman, and y'all make sure all that happens.
Yeah, no, for real. For real.
So then it has nothing to do with you being black nor a woman then, when other people don't have their accommodations made, that black women
Correct.
are very capable of being involved in those spaces and making sure that people's needs are
No, and that's you're making an excellent point. Like, I sit on the Worcester Redevelopment Authority, right? And so we oversaw the Polar Park construction, which is the Worcester Red Sox, right? That went up. But I'm the only woman, and I'm the only black person on that board.
Damn.
I'm on that board with white
You
men.
checking 2 boxes. All right.
Right? Right. But I tell people that all the time. Like, when I show up, I check all the boxes. I'm disabled. I'm black. I'm a woman. Like, I literally check all the boxes. So if I win, y'all all win. And I always say that about black women. When we win, like, everybody wins.
Yes.
That's right.
Right? So just, push us forward, because we'll take it. We will take it.
And run.
Yeah, we will take it. Right?
Yes.
But it's like, this community that this society, whatever that we're living in, we have to start controlling it locally. So people have to show up and vote for city council. People have to show up and vote for the school committee. People have to show up and make sure that things in their community are happening. Like, again, the city manager is appointed, but the city manager is appointed by the city council. So how do you control that? By controlling who the hell is on your city council. But if y'all only show up to vote for president and legalizing weed, then you're never going to affect difference in your community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not even worried. Like, I honestly, truly, I'm just glad that it's no longer Donald Trump occupying the White House, right? Like, I'm just glad that dude, like, I don't even got to see him on my TV anymore. Like, I'm just glad for that. But for me, like, the fight is right here. Like, for me, the fight is right here in Massachusetts. I'm not worried about him, although I wish he would just sign and give me my $50K off of my student loan.
Hello.
Just give me my $50K. And for all those people who think that means that I'm not paying, I'm still fucking paying.
Yep.
After the $50K comes off, I still owe.
Yeah.
So, like, let's get over that. Like, oh, they're gonna wipe it out and they don't have to pay. I'm still goddamn paying. And like Ayanna Presley said, she has people in her district 70-something years old and still paying student loans. Like, please, I don't want to be that person. Can y'all please give us that $50K?
Let me tell you, my mother owes $2,000 from some student loans that she had in the 70s. Okay,
That's
They
what I'm
paid
saying.
for
And
her
it's our
for
community. It's our
$2,000.
community. And it's
Be-
mainly, primarily Black women. We're the ones who are
I was just
carrying
going
the
to
debt.
say, people of color get the highest rates and have the most debt for student loans.
And because
women
Black
right
women,
now are
we
the
went
number
forward.
one
We wanted to
most
be
educated people in the
educated.
country.
Now
Yeah.
we're carrying $100,000 in student loans. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, because you told us, well, I went to Metco, right? So they told us, like, you had to get into those high-level schools. Those are private schools. The tuition is outrageous. But here I am. I'm like, this is what I got to do. So they telling me I got to get loans. So I'm going to sign it. Like, what? I don't know. Like, what am I doing? What am
It's a
I doing
hustle.
at 17 years old?
Mm-hmm.
How
Right.
do I know that?
We
I don't know
don't
that
it.
at 44 years old, I'm still going to be paying that crap.
Yeah.
Or look, nobody, because that is the hustle. Because nobody tells you you get these student loans, and then once you graduate, you can't even get enough money. Your salary
Right.
isn't even equal to or greater
It's not.
than
It's
your
not.
student loans.
It's
Nope.
not. Because guess what? A bachelor's degree at this point is might as well be a high school diploma.
Yep.
At this point.
Yep.
With
But
the way
So by the
things are
time you
going,
get done with that, and then you go out to get a job, your job is paying you $15 an hour, and you got a $800,000 student loan payment. So now I can't even live nowhere. I gotta go live with my parents or whatever. Like,
Yep.
when you
That's
talk
the
about
hustle.
like the systemic racism, like this is what we're talking about. Like literally every turn that you're trying to make to try to improve your lifestyle is somehow pulling you in the other direction.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like we're just trying to survive sometimes.
Like literally, I get up every day and I'm trying to survive.
Yep.
Indeed.
So it feels like all of this other stuff that's happening to you is just like, you don't even want me to live. And that's why we're out here like, yo, Black Lives Matter. And we're not just talking about like people, Black people getting shot by police or all this thing. Like we're talking about literally we waking up every day in fight or flight. And you know what fight or flight does to you biologically? It causes diabetes, it causes high blood pressure, it causes high cholesterol, it causes you to be sick because biologically your body is not meant to be in that state
You don't have
perpetually.
an opportunity to rest.
Right, where
Something
it's
that we
not meant to
often
be in
talk
that
about.
state perpetually. And that's why you see so many people in our community suffering from mental illness. Like every person I talk to has insomnia. Right? Like, I mean, this is why we all of us this is why COVID hit the way it did in our communities because we were already suffering. We were already sick. Like, if you think about it, like if you're tired and you catch a cold, that cold is worse when you're tired. So if we are out here watching somebody kneel on a man's neck that looks like our brother and our uncle and our daddy and whatever, we're watching that and you're in that state, and now you got a pandemic, and then you get COVID. I'm already sick. Now I got COVID.
And people want to make it about obesity, but don't
It
want to
ain't
talk
even
about.
listen, we're obese because we're stressed the fuck out.
Cortisol makes your body hold on to weight.
That piece. Nobody wants to talk about that. They think that people, especially in our community,
they think we're lazy
and don't exercise. And it was like, and I always push back on that lazy now. I'm like, hello, since the 1400s, Black people, enslaved Africans built this country starting in the 1400s.
Right. So how could we be lazy? How could we be lazy?
It's not built into us. It's not. Laziness is just not a trait that we pick
that's
up.
not even a thing for us. How could
and
we be
all
lazy?
mamas on here, right? So we know that's a lie. Because you want to meet somebody that's not lazy, go talk to a Black mama. Okay?
Exactly.
That's why we have those things like the saying, we don't look like what we've been through. We make a way out of no way. All those types of things. Because guess what? Lazy people don't get those kind of stereotypes and stigmas lumped up on them. Because we raise everyone's children. We take care of everybody else's household. You know what I mean? We are teaching and nurturing everyone. Everybody.
Literally and
trying to take
figuratively.
everybody with us, right? Like how we was just talking about. When we win, everybody wins. So we're out
Right.
here trying to win for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we carrying everybody on our shoulders? Then you want to get an attitude with us talking about we're lazy?
Right. Right. Or
What?
like every ill of the Black community some kind of way funnels its way back to us.
And
Out there
honestly, and it's our own sisters and brothers too. Like that part hurts my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we talk about, you know, and I what's the girl name? Meg the Stallion.
Yeah.
What
I
about
don't even know nothing about her, but like how somebody shoot her, right? The boy shot her, right? Isn't that the one that got shot by?
Yeah.
And then they trying to blame her for getting
Yes.
shot. Like what?
Yes. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't.
Like
I mean,
everything we somehow.
Listen, it don't matter what you do. Nobody should be shooting you. All right.
Right.
Plain and
Exactly.
simple.
Right.
Like simple and plain. Like it don't matter.
But even like
Unfortunately.
that whole drama, I don't know if y'all even followed it. It was probably just the Caribbeans, but like the dude, he's a comedian, Major Hype.
We ain't even talking about that kind of Xavier.
So
We ain't
Major
talking about
Hype
that guy.
and the girl,
Nope.
and
He don't exist on
he
this
boxing
platform.
the girl. He boxing the girl, but then everybody want to say, "Oh well, she's a hoe, so she should get boxed." What?
No. Keep your hands to yourself.
What? Wait,
I don't
run,
know if I
run that
can
back.
follow
I
you.
missed that.
So he beat the girl. So the girl comes on Instagram and she makes a video and she's like, you know, basically like, I left the dude. He was abusive. She never used his name, nothing. But everybody knew that was his girlfriend. So when she came on like, yo, you know, this is what happened. I left. And da-da-da. But she never called him out. She never said his name, nothing. This man comes back. Well, first, before he even come back, all of a sudden now her sex tape, she had, I guess she had recorded some sex thing on her phone.
So now they
When they get in the argument, he thieved the girl's phone and break into the phone. All of a sudden now her sex tapes are all over the internet. Right? All of a sudden her sex tapes is all over the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he comes on and he does this 80-minute dialogue about how she did him so wrong and he never did anything to her and she's just basically a trash human being. So I'm like, I watched like 5 minutes of his thing and I'm like, he's full of shit because he's full of shit, right?
Yeah,
because all he
clearly
is on here talking about how she's a hoe and he went in her phone and he find all this thing in her phone. So basically you trying to justify the fact that you boxed her, right?
But you know, I watched, I think it was on Red Table Talk. They had the, and I can't think of what her name is, the psychologist that Jada sometimes brings on.
Yes, I know who you're talking. I don't remember her name either.
Yeah, she was talking about narcissists and how everybody's always, or like when women are in these relationships and they don't leave, and that everybody's always like, well, why doesn't she leave?
Right, that was the whole thing. And she was an ex-police officer. So everybody's like, oh, she was an ex-police officer. So why she da-da-da-da-da?
No, but it perfectly spotlights how the onus is put on the woman.
Right.
And
Nobody addresses.
Why is it her fault? Why is it her fault?
Why are we not having that conversation? It's like, well, let's talk about the abuser, not the survivor / victim.
When I tell you they dogged that girl, and I'm talking about even females. Talk about, well, I don't believe her. She's lying.
You don't even know her.
You don't even know her. So how you know? Mind you, the girl is posting picture of her black eye on the man's bedspread. Okay, she's on the man's bedspread. The girl is posting her hospital discharge thing, but they still telling the girl she's a liar. She's a gold digger. She's this. She's that. And I'm talking about females and men.
We call those pick-me's. Yeah, and we call those pick-me's. They part of the sisterhood. They just ain't. Like, we can't take everybody.
I don't
Sorry,
think,
y'all.
we don't deserve that. We don't deserve that.
No, not at all.
She didn't deserve that. I don't know what went on between the two of them. It could be, maybe it was mutual combat. I don't know. But no man should be doing that to no woman.
No.
Period.
No.
Period. End of story. I don't care if she was a gold digger. I don't care if she was cocking up shibati in the bathroom. I don't care.
Right. It don't matter. Keep your hands.
It don't matter.
Okay, because that gold digger thing, we could do a whole show on that.
That's a whole nother one.
Well, that kills me because homegirl was a police officer, right? So she was doing okay.
right? And making
Yes,
her, yes,
Xavier,
okay, you're a
unfortunately.
comedian, you're a little bit of a celebrity,
Yes,
but you ain't
John,
been,
walk
like
away.
when he was showing his quote unquote receipts, right? So he's
Yeah.
showing how he used to be cash apping her and stuff. Homeboy cash apped her $300 for Valentine's Day. I said he
So,
ain't a baller and she ain't a gold digger. Because if he cash apping her only $300,
That ain't much.
that ain't nothing. You supposed to be big time celebrity and you cash apping me $300 for Valentine's Day?
right. No,
No,
we're not
I
doing
can't
that.
be gold digger with you.
But you know what the thing is? Why in our community, and I was so excited when I learned the word hypergamy, because there's a word for that, and it means to marry up. And we are the only ones that get trashed.
Oh, yeah.
Right, what's wrong with that though?
And I'm like, so we don't want to be on the struggle bus? And that's a problem? No.
We're
Yeah,
not doing
but
that
half
either.
the time when people are being accused of gold diggers, most of the time
They don't
the
even have
person
no
that they're
gold.
being, it's like, what am I digging for?
They don't even have gold.
Right, like
They talking about putting your
what
money
would
that you
she
ain't even
potentially be
Right.
digging for? And it
Mhm.
was
Right.
funny because I made the comment. I'm like, he only sent her $300 for Valentine's Day. He ain't go
wannabe
like what is she
rapper.
gold digging, right? So here
barely
we
some
go
shit.
with the females. So some female gonna respond to me, talk about, oh well, whatever. I bet you nobody sending you $300 for Valentine's Day. And I said, honestly, if my husband cash out me $300 for Valentine's Day, I'd cuss his ass out. Like, what the fuck?
It's like we just gotta raise our stand. Oh wait, you froze it? No, there you are.
No, I'm not frozen.
Like, we gotta-
I'm just in
She
disbelief.
held her pose for a
I'm
second
in
because she's like,
disbelief. Like, what?
right.
First of all, don't send you're cash apping me
Yeah.
for Valentine's Day. I'm gonna
First
have
of
an
all,
attitude
you should be
already.
making plans, not just sending.
Yeah, I already got an attitude because that
Oh,
means
that's not
you
a
didn't
bouquet
really.
with roses made out of $100 bills.
No,
Son,
ma'am.
but that
No.
means you
It's
didn't
not.
really even give no thought
Honey,
to that. You didn't give
$300 is
no
not
thought.
big money. You got to
No.
send more than that.
No.
Apparently,
Right, John.
$300 is big money because they calling the girl all kind of gold diggers.
Oh no. See, and the thing is, when we see that type of stuff online and open our mouths and be like, "No, she ain't in the wrong." How many times we get pushed back?
Oh,
I mean,
every single time I stood up for that girl, somebody was coming at me.
Yep. But the thing is, you're talking, and that is a situation where we don't know what the hell's going on in their bedroom,
We
right?
don't
We don't
know.
fucking know. But then bring it back to the police fucking with us, right? We're supposed to ride till the wheels fall off for these black men that are
Mhm.
getting got by the police. The
Even if
second
they
they do
dust
that
bunnies.
shit to us or to one of our babies, it's not the same energy. So I'm
Nope.
like, why are we riding at this point?
Well, that's
Like,
what I'm
why?
saying. Like, you know how when people always use the comment about like ride or die.
Right.
Why I gotta ride and die?
Why can't I
Right.
just ride?
I'm not riding to die
Where's the
nowhere.
ride?
Right? Why can't
I
we
ain't going. I
ride?
can
Like
drive
ride
on
to
my
the
own.
sunset or something? Why I gotta ride and die?
No, I just
And that's why I have not watched Queen and Slim. No knock to them.
I have no idea
No,
what
I
that
didn't
is.
watch it either. I didn't watch.
But I have
There was
not watched
another one.
because-
What's the one where they was fighting? Somebody told me the whole damn movie is two people fighting.
It was Malcolm and Marie.
Yes,
I like
that
that
one.
one. You know,
What is it?
That was a good one. Malcolm and
It was
Marie.
Malcolm and Marie.
Oh, okay. I respectfully decline this.
Was it good? Did you
Some
watch
people
it?
felt like
Did they
that one
argue
was
the whole
really.
time? Because I can't be watching.
Some
nothing with
people felt like it was
arguing.
toxic. It was a little triggering, especially if you ever lived that life a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, like the drama filled.
yeah. If you like
I'm
being
not
messy.
watching that. I'm
They
gonna get
weren't
triggered. I'm
physically
good.
fighting. It was a couple having a conversation,
Okay.
and the relationship dynamic.
They was being a little
over the
mean.
course of the conversation.
Okay.
They was a little fucked up and mean to each other. Okay.
You know what, Hanif? Look, we understand that some men, we know this, and
Right.
we kind of like where we are. We know not all men. We
Right.
feel that, and the thing is, we know that some of y'all need our support.
Yes.
We know this because again, if Black women if we just all collectively sat down, the entire community would collapse and die.
Yep.
Not just
So
our
we're never gonna
community.
let
This
that
whole
happen.
No,
fucking
the whole
shit.
place would collapse.
Yep.
But I tell you what, some of these things that I see, if that was one of my children, like that came from my womb, I'm burning the whole shit down.
Well, honestly, so we had a
That's a
BLM march last
Dracarys.
year in Worcester,
Dracarys.
and it was right after George Floyd. It was the first BLM march they did in Worcester. And I told that whole crowd, and the police was sitting over there on their little horses or whatever. And I told them, I said, I probably shouldn't say this, but if one of my children
We do need
get
each other's
murdered,
email.
I
Yes,
want
John.
you to burn this entire city to the fucking ground.
Yep.
Yep.
I told
Because
my
you know what? It's black people, it's enslaved Africans that was come to this country, that built this country into what it is. So if y'all don't love us and you want to murder us in the street, then we gonna take down everything that we built, and y'all can build this shit back up yourself.
I feel that.
That's how I
Facts.
honestly and truly feel. And honestly, when they was getting ready to read, and I said it all day leading up to that George Floyd verdict, and I was like, you know what? If they don't get it right, then we just gonna take out this whole shit. We're taking
Well,
it
you
all
know
out.
they're trying to have it thrown out now, right?
Yeah, they're trying to
I
appeal it.
saw, but they said that
It's a
that's
mess.
normal. Like they normally, like that's a normal
Trying to go through
maneuver
that
by
whole
the defense,
process.
and they don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Plus, they just put them all up on Fed charges anyway.
But I tell you what, too, though, like all this like hype, and I could not believe when things went down with Ma'Khia Bryant. I had to just get off the internet. Because I know I had a thread on my page where people were like calling her names. And like,
but what again? This is where they don't love us. Like, why don't they love us? Why don't they love us? Like, come on, that is a 16-year-old baby. Okay, and them women came to her house to fight her.
Grown
and I'm sorry,
women.
I don't know where you come from, but if
age.
somebody come to my house to jump me, I'm coming outside, and I'm not coming outside empty-handed because there's more than one of you, and there's only one of me. So I have to have something, right? So I don't understand. Like, everybody in that situation failed her. That foster mother failed her. Them adults failed her. What the hell? Your father was there?
Yep.
Your father was there?
Yep.
And where was I'm sorry. Like, I don't understand that. Because there's no way anybody is coming to my house to fight my child. And I'm letting my child go outside by herself.
Yeah, the foster mother called.
Right.
She called the ladies.
So how did everybody failed that child?
But
and
they're
she does not deserve to be dead. All them adults failed her.
All of them.
But it's a whole ass debate. And it's like there's nothing to debate about.
What do we debate? I don't understand why there's a debate.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
she should not be dead. And I'm not saying that it's squarely on the hands of that police officer. Although I do feel like, school teachers, counselors disarm people all the time.
Bus drivers.
Without
one
guns.
was just disarmed. The shooter, active shooter, was just disarmed by a teacher.
So, whatever. But at the end of the day, all them adults in that situation failed a child. She was a minor. Y'all failed her.
And so, with you saying that, Jennifer, something that Erika and Aunyx and I always talk about is how our Black children are not looked at as children. They always have this onus of adulthood put upon them, and it particularly happens more with Black girls, and we see it happen all the time with our Black sons, where just because of their Black skin, their height, whatever it may be,
because they tend to be like, my kids look mature. Like, my daughter's 11, but you could probably walk up on her and maybe think she was 13 or 14.
I had that 11-year-old daughter
because she's
also.
big, like she's my dad used to say that girls are so whatever badness that you did in your life, like as a man, you have a baby girl, that's your penalty. Like that's your karma, right? So you're gonna get a baby girl, and she gonna look like the woman that you had that baby with, and she gonna be out there, and men is gonna be after her, and now you gotta protect that baby girl. So you get all your karma back, because all that crap that you was out there doing to females is what people are gonna try to do to your baby girl, and now you have to protect your baby girl. So he always used to say, when you have a daughter, that's your karma.
Yeah.
I'm not receiving that. I'm just not even going to receive that.
No, I hear what you're saying, Jennifer.
No,
And
Yeah.
I understood
hear
what he
you,
meant.
Eric.
He didn't mean it in like a
understood it too, but
negative
I'm just
way.
saying
It's
I'm not
just
receiving
a lot of them don't. A lot of these men. We had this conversation yesterday, didn't we, Fox?
Yes.
Because like some of them were raised that way, and they took that. And some of them were raised that way, and they was like, "Fuck it." They still out here doing the dirt that they
Right.
doing.
But
And
I would so like even with my husband and I have been together for 20 years. And
That's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, and like I tell people all the time, like the beginning of our relationship, like we were like oil and water because we're both strong and we're both alphas. But like I need a dude that's like just a little bit more of an alpha that like when I'm out of control, he could just be like, hey, shut up. And I'm gonna respect that. Right? So like I kind of need that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a little while for us to get there. But when we had our daughter, and I remember this because like we didn't live together at the time, and I dropped my daughter over there for the weekend. And by the time I came back to pick up my daughter, she wouldn't even come to me. She was like on him. And I'm like, come, baby. And she like, no, like that's my daddy. You know what I mean?
damn.
And I was
Daddy's
like,
girl.
damn, you just like totally whatever. But anyways, after that, like my husband started to see different things. Like one night we had a whole conversation. He was like, I understand now. Like when you used to tell me, like, you know, you're giving females the wrong impression. You're being flirty. You're, you know, da 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 da. You're encouraging that kind of attention. Like he didn't even understand. Like when I was saying that to him, he just thought I was trying to like control his movements or, you know, whatever, trying to change him or whatever the case may be. He didn't even realize like what he was doing.
Yeah.
Or how he may have been, you know, maybe encouraging the wrong, you know, perception. And like like I said, he just started to see things differently once we had a daughter because he started to see things like, you know, I wouldn't ever want somebody to do that to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Like, well, I'm not going to do that because I would never want somebody to do that to my daughter. Like that stuff started ringing in his head. And we have a son that's older. My son is 16. And like you said, my 16-year-old son is my height. I'm 5'6.5". And he's a big kid. He has full facial hair, full like beard, mustache. He got hair on his arms, hair on his legs. So like you walk upon him, you probably think he's 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's just a big kid. And I, like you said, I feel like our kids are just like, honestly, like we feed them, right? Like you eat rice and peas and you eat macaroni and cheese and you eat like, and they're big kids. And so when people see them, they perceive them as a threat. Like I shouldn't have to worry about my 16-year-old walking home from the bus stop because I'm afraid, you know, he might stop, you know, in front of somebody's house and they think he's a threat.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's a kid. But they don't see him as a kid.
Right.
They don't perceive him as a kid. And like I said, even my daughter, she's 11, but she looked like she's at least 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I worry about that too because she's 11. So she has an 11-year-old mind. And then people, you know, people are predators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are predators.
That's hard.
And it's unfortunate. And I feel like they prey on our children more.
I mean,
And they prey on their
our job.
circumstances more.
I swear, it's just like, were we talking about that shit yesterday? Because the response time is like they know that they can get away with fucking with us because the response time and the lack of urgency.
They don't even care. Like
at this point.
Straight up, last year, we had a city council meeting. Somebody posted a pic. No, somebody spray painted one of the police cars in the garage under City Hall. And it was like, I don't remember what they put. They put like fuck something, whatever. So I reposted it because I'm like, well, this is what the fuck happens when you don't listen to us in the damn meeting. They go downstairs and spray paint your shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Somebody tried to come for you, Jenny.
Yo, no lie.
I believe it.
A sergeant in the Worcester Police Department. I don't even know how he got it because he's not my friend and my page is not public. But he screenshot. Somebody got a screenshot, and they have this Worcester Police Union page. He puts it up on the union page, and he's like, "Oh, you see this? She sits on the WRA, and da 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 da. Like we need to da 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 da. Like we need to do something about her. Like how dare it? How dare her?
Right.
We let her in. How dare her? Okay. Then I got police officers that I work with for the carnival. Because remember, I told y'all we have to pay them. These are officers that have known me for years. We've been doing carnival for 7 years. You all see me every year. And when y'all see me in the street around the city, y'all stop and talk to me, right? All of a sudden now.
They acting brand new, right?
Right. All of a sudden now, nobody's in there like, hey, I know Jennifer. What the hell? What are you doing? No, I got none of that. I got, oh, wow, we help her so much with her carnival. No, motherfucker, you don't help me. I pay for you to be there. Don't act like you're doing me a favor. You get paid to be there. Cut it out. Cut it out. Oh, but then we get the one dude. Oh, what kind of car does she drive and where does she live?
Oh, shit.
Now, remember what I said. This is a police page. So that's very easy for them to find out, correct?
Yep.
So I'm going to take that as a threat.
Yep.
Right? So I screenshot that sucker. And I'm like, oh, really? This is what we gonna do. Really? This is how we gonna do me? Got you. So now I'm gonna send that shit to the city manager. I'm gonna send it to all the city councilors. I'm gonna send it to the chief of police. And I'm gonna say, oh, so this is how we treat people who volunteer in our community. We threaten them on the police union page. What we gonna do about that?
Right.
What did they come back with?
Call it out.
Call it out. Let's see. And now I'm gonna post it on my page again too. Like, yeah, and I called everybody. So what we gonna do? Now everybody want to blow up my page, blow up my phone. But you couldn't call me. Wait a minute. The same sergeant that posted the pay thing. Now you want to be on my voicemail. Because first of all, you calling me from a block number. I'm not answering you.
What?
You'll call my phone from a block number. And then when you're leaving me messages, you're not leaving me your phone number. So that means you don't really want to talk to me.
Right.
So you're leaving me, I want to meet. I want to apologize. No, you don't. Because you're calling me from a block number.
No,
you're not leaving a phone number for me to call you back.
No, ma'am.
And frankly, couldn't you just call me on the phone and be like, yo, my fault, sorry? Why do I need to meet you for that shit? You don't want to say sorry. You're only calling me because they probably told you had to.
Yep.
So guess what? I'm not I just sent them an email after a while. I said, I'm not entertaining that. I'm not entertaining that. Now, unless y'all are bringing homeboy up on charges that threaten me on social media, like I'm done with this fucking conversation. But I'm going to let y'all know. Try me. Don't try me. Leave me the hell alone.
Try Jesus.
Try somebody else. Leave me the hell alone. I have cameras on my house. I have cameras in my freaking car. Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Because if you come for me, I'm going to respond and it will all be on tape. So let's just cut it out. Let's just cut it out. And don't you know, I messaged the dude that threatened me. I messaged him. And I said, oh, so you're threatening me. No, I just wanted to get your attention. So this is why we say Black Lives Matter. Because you thought it was a joke.
Why we say
to
protect
threaten
Black
me.
women.
You thought that shit was a joke. And guess what? My 26-year-old son found that. That's how I found out what you did. My son found that. And my son called me upset. So this ain't even about me. This isn't about me. It's not a joke to threaten people.
Right.
And you shouldn't think that you should be able to threaten somebody and make it like, oh, I was just trying to get your attention. That shit's not funny. And you got my attention, but it's the wrong attention. You don't want this.
Right.
But that just goes to show you how little consideration they have for us as human beings. That you would think that it was funny and a ploy to get my attention by threatening me on a public page where somebody could potentially take your threat seriously and carry it out.
Because you don't know what's in the minds of people, right? And that's why we're like, Black Lives Matter all the time.
All the time, everywhere, in every space.
Protect Black women. Protect Black women. Yes, all Black Lives Matter. And one thing that I'm really curious that I want to know about, where else can people learn more about you? Like, where can people find you that
Yeah.
that you want them to have access to you? And do
I
you
was gonna say,
ask that
find
too.
me.
do you have anything special coming up in the next couple of days, weeks, months,
Yeah, actually,
that you
so
want people to know about?
This
Okay.
Wednesday on Unity Radio, so I co-host a show called Cannabis 101
Mm-hmm.
with Lauren Prey and Jimmy Chang. And we are on Unity Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2. Unity Radio is local to Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay.
But you can also get them on IG or Facebook. We stream the show live. But this week we have a special treat. We have a good friend of mine, Danielle Johnson, on. She's actually the owner of Spark FM, which is the
Okay.
first
I love
Black
her.
female-owned internet radio station in Massachusetts.
Oh,
So
cute.
she's gonna be on the show this week, talking about her cannabis journey and just her journey as a Black woman, as a Black entrepreneur in Massachusetts. So, and we have a really big announcement on Wednesday as well. So I hope everybody tunes in. The show, we really just talk about current issues around cannabis. We try to educate people around cannabis. A lot of the times we have, patients on talking about their patients' stories. We've had a number of different advocates. We've even had an NFL player on that's, currently working in the CBD space. So definitely, tune in. I'm on every week, Wednesday from 1 to 2 on Unity Radio for Cannabis 101. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I'm one of the directors for MassCan, which is the Mass Cannabis Reform Coalition. So we host the Boston Freedom Rally every year on the Commons. I think that's what most people know MassCan for. But again, like I mentioned earlier, we're really trying to diversify the organization, diversify the membership. So that we can really start working in spaces that are beneficial to us as people of color. So I encourage people to go out, look out MassCan. We do stream all of our meetings. We have a number of advisory boards, and we do stream the members meeting as well as the board of directors meeting. So if you're looking for information, get involved in getting network. In the cannabis space, definitely look into joining MassCan as well. And I'm
That's
definitely,
masscan.org.
working with them to kind of, repair, some of the things where they went off the rails over the past several years, and really trying to make the organization represent all of us in the cannabis community. So I would, welcome some company in doing so. So I would
Okay.
love to have people, come on board there as well.
Well, we had an extra special show. We have gone over time, but it's been okay.
Oh yeah, we went way over time.
Good.
That's okay.
I didn't even realize we went over time. This has
Yeah.
been amazing. Thank
It's
you
been
for
a whole 2
bringing
hours.
so much energy to our show this evening. I'm so happy that you came.
And
to
y'all
join us.
got me up after my bedtime.
Oh,
I take my
Thank
edible
you.
at like 7:30, dude. I be out at 9. Y'all got me up past my bedtime up in here.
Well,
okay.
thank you for
Well,
coming
all
and
those-
hanging out with us.
All those links that Jenny mentioned will be in the replay description, and we will put those in.
Yep, and you guys can check out my son at EB Greenery. He's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our website is ebgreenery.com.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me,
everyone
guys.
for
Happy
joining us.
Mother's Day.
Same to
Happy
you.
Mother's
too.
Day.
Have a great night.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your edible. Get some rest.
Yes.
I
You are
think I'm gonna take a
listening.
tincture because that hits quick. I'll be
I hear that. Yes,
Hey.
tincture.
Yes.
Have a
Everyone
good night,
that has
ladies. Take
tuned
care
in
of
this
yourselves.
evening,
Bye.
thank you for joining us. See you next time. Peace,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
Right. Oh, thanks, John. Thanks, Xavier. Monique, Angela, Miss Daisy.
Hold up. It's still doing its thing.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Later.
It should be ended. The little thing has